2/3 of U.S. adults and 1/3 of U.S. children are overweight or obese, and these rates are higher among Hispanic whites and non-Hispanic blacks. The consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages is associated with obesity and obesity-related diseases, and low-income persons consume more sugar-sweetened beverages than those with higher income. The SNAP program, or food stamps, is the nutrition assistance program in the United States for low-income families. However, the program provides few restrictions on the types of foods that can be purchased, including sugar-sweetened beverages. The USDA actually recently conducted a large pilot study that tested the use of small financial incentives to increase purchase of fruits and vegetables by SNAP participants in grocery stores, and found that this increased consumption of fruits and vegetables by 26%. So the objective of this study was to conduct a randomized controlled trial among low-income families to test the effectiveness of in-store traffic light labels, targeted beverage education, and financial incentives to reduce the purchase of sugar-sweetened beverages. The setting for this study was Chelsea, Mass., which is a community, a densely populated community just north of Boston with 35,000 residents. 62% are Latino, and the median income is $30,000. In 2010, school health data showed that approximately half of school-age children were overweight or obese. The study actually took place in Campari Supermarket, which is located in the heart of Chelsea. It's a mid-sized grocery store that has a lot of Latino specialty items, and 30% of their sales are with SNAP. The inclusion criteria for this study was that the subjects must be a regular customer of Campari and purchase at least half their groceries at the store. They must have at least one child at home and speak either English or Spanish. Everybody who was enrolled in the study received a supermarket loyalty card that provided a 5% discount on all their grocery purchases throughout the 7-month study. So this just gives an overview of the study design and what took place for the intervention. We recruited and enrolled people in January 2014 directly from the store. We followed their baseline purchasing data in February and March of 2014. In April, we posted traffic light labels in the stores on all the beverages. And then we began sending monthly letters to all study participants. The intervention group received a financial incentive to not purchase sugar-sweetened beverages, and the control group received no incentive. So this just shows an example of what our labels looked like. They were posted in both Spanish and English. We gave examples of what falls into each category, and we posted the labels directly on the shelf tags near the price. Then all groups, the intervention group and the control groups, received monthly letters. This is a sample of the intervention group letter. It explained how the individual could earn their incentive. The incentive was a $25 gift card at the grocery store in which they could purchase any item except for beverages. It told them that to earn the incentive, they would need to avoid purchasing red-labeled beverages every month. There was also a reminder that the loyalty card provided a 5% discount, and it provided a summary of the traffic light labels and what they meant. And then there was a healthy beverage topic and recipe of the month, and a second page, which is not shown, provided feedback about purchases of red beverages in the prior month and whether they had earned their reward. The control group also received a monthly letter at the same time the intervention group received a letter. They received general guidelines about diet with the choosemyplate.gov diagram. They also received a reminder that the loyalty card provided a 5% discount on all their purchases, but there was no information about traffic light labels. And they received a healthy eating topic and recipe of the month. So all beverages sold in the grocery store, and this is 750 different beverage items for a relatively small grocery store, were categorized as red, yellow, or green and had labels on them. The algorithm for developing the color coding was based on grams of sugar and saturated fat per 12 ounces of beverage. We downloaded the sales data daily over the 7-month period, and at baseline we collected demographics and a beverage frequency questionnaire through a survey. Our primary outcome was the proportion of subjects who purchased red-labeled beverages each month of the study, and our secondary outcome was a proportion of subjects on SNAP who purchased red-labeled beverages. We used a legit model with subject-specific random effects to assess monthly probability of purchasing red beverages during the intervention period, and another model assessing trend and probability of purchasing red beverages. And we controlled for baseline red beverage purchases and SNAP use. So the study flow diagram shows what happens when you do research out in the community. And so we enrolled 260 customers at baseline in the store. We ended up randomizing 214 of them. Of the 108 who ended up in the intervention group, 16 never picked up their loyalty card. And of the 106 in the control group, 15 never picked up their loyalty card. So of those who picked up their card, 16 in the intervention group never used it, and 20 in the control group never used theirs. So we didn't have any data on those people who didn't pick up or use their card. So for our analysis, we could only use the 77 who used the card in the intervention group and the 71 who used the card in the control group. So this table shows the baseline characteristics of the subjects. And I've got the intervention group, the control group, and then the subjects who picked up their card but never used their card, just to compare and see if there's any differences. And you can see there's actually really no differences between the three groups, except for one thing. The control group had a lower proportion of subjects who used SNAP compared to the intervention group. So it was 49% versus 66%. On all the other factors, you can see that it's predominantly female group, and almost everybody was Hispanic or Latino. Everybody shopped at Campari frequently. And this is just a snapshot from the beverage frequency questionnaire, just to show you what people are consuming. It's interesting, in this population, very low consumption of diet soda. So this is what they consumed on a daily basis. It said, the question was, if they consumed one of these beverages once a day or more. So this is high consumption. So diet soda is low, seltzer water is also low, 100% fruit juice is very high, juice drinks are also high, soda, powdered mixes, and sports drinks are relatively high as well. And it didn't differ between the two groups. This was our main outcome. This shows the proportion of subjects who purchased red beverages in the control and the intervention groups throughout every month of the study. So along the x-axis is time. You see February and March is our baseline period. Already you see that in the two groups, the control group actually had a lower proportion of control group subjects purchased red beverages at baseline, which is the orange line, compared to the blue line in the intervention group. The dotted line, vertical line, represents when we posted traffic light labels and when we started sending letters to people. And you can see that the intervention group actually did start to decrease their purchase of red labeled beverages, and the control group started to increase their purchases. And when we did a best fit line to look at the slopes of these changes, there was a significant difference in the slope of the control group versus the intervention group with a p-value of 0.002. This is controlling for baseline beverage purchases, as well as whether they were on SNAP or not. And then we were particularly interested in what happens with subjects who are on SNAP. And again, you see large differences at baseline between the two groups. But the same type of pattern occurs where the control group started to gradually increase their purchase of red beverages, whereas the intervention group started to decrease. And this is the best fit line. This was borderline significant at p.07. So there are definitely limitations to this type of work. The subjects could have purchased sugar-sweetened beverages at other grocery stores. We did ask in an exit survey whether they had done so, whether they had bought beverages elsewhere, and 73% did report that they did not purchase beverages elsewhere. Another limitation is that 31% of subjects never picked up the loyalty card, and we were unable to track their data. However, we're pretty confident that they were not different in baseline demographics or shopping habits. And of course, this is a low-income urban Latino community, and these findings may not be generalizable to all settings. So in conclusion, we found that in-store traffic light labels, beverage education, and financial incentives reduced sugar-sweetened beverage purchases among low-income Latino families. These findings suggest that strategies that combine point-of-purchase labeling and education with incentives have the potential to improve both the motivation and skills for making healthier choices among diverse populations. However, future research will be needed to test the scalability and long-term effectiveness of this kind of work.